25 to go. hold up. Remember, tonight we are live streaming. Lanes 14, 15, 16, and 17. Remember, next week is our position round. We will crown our first winner. And our payout will be 2 weeks from tonight. I have 24 tip boards left, and if you want them, I'll be streaming right by Kegler's. You can come up and purchase them. When your lanes come on, scoring units come on, you may start your league play. Good luck and good bowling. And all remember, all money has to be paid next week. Make sure if you're in arrears, you're paid justly.
Back to the house? Can you have somebody come out and take? Can you have somebody come out and get you, or bring you out to the house and get the Ranger? Well, you're going to have to get the Ranger if you don't want to drive it. Well, you're not that far from the house. Does it have oil pressure? Because I know it's got a gauge. Huh? Don't drive it. Where are you at with it? You in the middle of the road? Are you at work or what? Just leave her sit. I have no idea what could be wrong with it. Unless it throws the oil pump or something out on it. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is all fuel pressure. Yeah, you lose oil pressure or something, the pump's fucked up. Anyway. Alright.
we got 13 left. I'll be up by keg loose if you'd like.
Let us sit there for a few minutes and check the oil with it. For some kind of reason, it ain't pumping oil. He lost oil pressure. Okay.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Larry Lichstein. We'd like to welcome you to the Thursday night get-together of the Morgantown Scratch Classic here in the beautiful small town about 60 miles south of Pittsburgh in the mountains, the home of the Mountaineers, Morgantown, West Virginia. We're airing from Suburban Lanes this evening, and this is week 8 in our 36-week season. And tonight we have lanes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 that we can watch. This is the night before next week's position round. At week 9 we crown a winner. We also have year-to-date points and quarterly points. So next week the first quarter ends and there'll be a winner, which will be seeded into our 5-team stepladder finals. Right now, Logo and Fusion has a commanding lead on first place. They're bowling Team Ebonite tonight, who is in third place. And if Ebonite beats them, they'll bowl each other again next week in the position round on 9 and 10. So this could determine this match right here, our first winner. Logo and Fusion against Team Ebonite, and on lane 19, the great Chad Gable, the anchor man, starting off with a double. Last week he had 763. Man is an excellent, excellent bowler. Right in front of us on 15 and 16, we have Brunswick bowling Kegel. We have 16 sponsors, plus KR handling our high average awards and high point awards. We have 17 sponsors with a total prize fund of $52,000, a 64-man league.
Black ticket, last 3 numbers, 190, 190. Strike balls for 1250, orange ticket 186, 186.
We use a point system each evening. Each team is bowling for a total of 64 points, plus for every 50 pins you knock over, you get a point. Right now, Logo and Fusion is leading the league with 696.80. Storm is in second with 626.30. Hammer in third, 625.30, and Ebonite 601.54. So Logo, even though they have a 70-point lead, really needs to bowl well tonight to pretty much lock it up for next week. If they were to lose, let's say 45 to 50 points tonight, they could be in jeopardy next week. So Team Ebonite right now is pretty much in control of its own destiny. If Logo and Fusion bowls bad, and Team Ebonite can go, let's say, 50 and 14, we'll have a dog fight next week. We're using a 40-foot flat pattern, slight blend in the middle, but they're very tricky outside of 5. If you get to 5 at 45 feet, forget it, your ball will not come back. You get it in around 8 and you're in the wrong spot, it'll jump through the nose. But if you're lined up right, you can score on this shot. Right now, so far, the high 3 games in the league is Chris Freeland with 801. Excuse me, I take that back. Chris Alessandro with 802, Chris Freeland with 801, and Kyle Davey with 782. We have 4 divisions, A, B, C, and D divisions. The D bowler is 199.99 and under. B and C are anywhere from 200 to 214.999, and A is 215 and up.
Next ticket, class 4, 0588. 0588.
Also bowling for Logo and Fusion on lane 19 this evening, we have Amanda Green, who is a PWBA champion, a West Virginia girl going to school here at West Virginia University, looking for a law degree. Brian Robinson, who's a PBA regional champion, bowling for Mountaineer Vision, is in Syracuse this evening, getting ready to bowl tomorrow in the U.S. Open. He did qualify in yesterday's qualifier. He qualified 9th at 28 under, very low scores up there in the Cuse. And we hope it's a great U.S. Open. I bowled a few myself in my life, and wonderful memories of bowling 3 of them in a row in 72, 3, and 4 at Madison Square Garden. And quite frankly, there's nothing like bowling the Open, which is the longest running major in bowling. Naturally used to be called the All-Star. The first one was won in 1941 by Andy Varapapa. It was the All-Star until 1970 when Bobby Cooper won at Strike and Spare Lanes in Northbrook, Illinois. And then in 71, it became the U.S. Open, where the great Mike Lemongello beat the great Tita Semez up in Minneapolis on a cold Saturday in January, a long time ago. Dave Taylor on lane 16's got a unique shot. Probably throws the ball straighter than anybody in the league. Got a high rev rate, a lot of loft, and very accurate. And that's usually what he does. He just yanks it up 5-6 no matter where he bowls. Somehow finds a shot, and is using 16-pound equipment. Justin Malik, our general manager on 15, is throwing 14-pound equipment, throwing a BTU Pearl. Great ball for short all patterns. Justin is one of the regional staff for Brunswick, and he's my compadre here at Suburban Lanes. Nice shot by Richie Gibson on lane 15. The Kegel team for Richie leads off on was really in the hunt up till a few weeks ago, and then Chris Freeland got hurt and had been really bowling great in the last few weeks, shot at 560 each week, and they got beat up pretty good. Right now they're about 100 points out of first. They're a long shot. They'd have to shoot 2,700 twice and take 60 points each week. So on this pattern, 2,700 is a real big number. We've had about 3 of those so far in the first 8 weeks, excuse me. This is the lowest scoring of the patterns that we've chosen. Starting 2 weeks from tonight, we're on a 49-foot, but there's plenty of room if you go up the lane and go at them. The ball hold all the way, and we're expecting very high scores on our next pattern. But this 40-footer can be real tricky with the carried down transition and not a lot of blend in the middle. Spares are critical. 1 pin misses to me are a sin on this condition. You've got to make the easy spares because the tough one's virtually impossible. To stay 30 clean on this, you got to be really sharp, make good shots, and really stay focused. Big Dave the Masher Taylor. Tuesday night league, he started off with the first 11 for 299. Last night he started with the first 8 for 269. And tonight, on a different pattern, he's got the first 4. Tough player, real straight, stays out of trouble. Got ball hits, he's just fine. Got some real interesting bios here with the Brunswick team bowling right in front of us on lane 15. Chris Rowe is a retired graphic illustrator. He's been bowling for 40 years. And he is the D bowler with a 196 average. Larry Bissett, the C bowler, is a retired chemical engineer. It's the first time in many, many years he's bowled a scratch league, says it's the best league he's ever bowled in. Todd Yost, who's with Brunswick, is a human resource manager for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Been bowling 34 years and loves competition. And the A bowler on the team, my dear friend Justin Malik, is a teacher and the manager of Suburban Lanes, been bowling 32 years, 8 800s, 13 300s. He's a Brunswick staff member, and he is so excited that we built this league here in Morgantown, and Justin is a major part of this center. The customers love him. Just a fine man. And Justin and I were hired pretty much the same time by our owners, Jerry, Steve, and Greg Lorenz, and it is an absolute honor for me to work for this family that's been in the bowling business for 50 years here in Morgantown. And this is a 24-lane house, and believe me, on the weekends it hops. We've got Oklahoma coming here Saturday. The stadium will be full, 65,000 people. It's about a quarter of a mile from the bowl. So our parking lot is full. They all eat here and stay in our hotel in the parking lot. And usually our 4 restaurants will have, I would say 400 people in them at all times, probably from around noon to midnight Saturday. The bowling center will be full. And our 5-star restaurant, Stefano's, downstairs. We'll have a lot of visitors here, a lot of alumni here eating and dining in the evening. And this is quite a place to work. When I first came here 3 years ago, I was shocked. I had no idea I would see something like this in a small town in West Virginia. Fun place to work, a lot of wonderful people. I was just down talking to Chris Freeland, our league president, who's the A bowler, who really started off great this league season. And he's pulled something in his forearm real bad. He's 64 in the fifth. And he's going to finish this game and take a blind score the next 2 games. That's the team that was leading up till 2 weeks ago, or real close. And he's tried to bowl. He can't average 180. And sad to see somebody get hurt that's that talented, but they say bowling isn't a sport. They're crazy. There's so many things that could go wrong with the body. Just starting with your fingers. We'll just start right there and go right up. Right up to the neck and the back, and the legs, the elbows, the calves. It's amazing how hard these 14-pound balls hit. Justin Malik throwing 80% urethane, 20% resin, catching a messenger, and this house is not noted for that. Pretty tough scoring house, but if you got a high rev rate, the right entry angle, you can splatter them. This is our 3rd year running this format in Morgantown. We started with 10 teams, it went up to 14 last year, 16 teams this year. When I ran this format previously where I used to live, the same scenario took place. In the 9-10 season, we had 10 teams. The 10-11 season, 16 teams. The 11-12 season, 20 teams. And the league became very popular where I previously lived. And I have to thank our sponsors over and over for believing in this project. Fortunately for myself, I've got a lot of friends in the industry that have been very supportive. Naturally, Hank Boomershine at Storm, along with Bill and Barbara Chrisman, and Wes Pye at 900 Global, and Mike Judy, and people at Ebonite, Tony Mendiola and Mike Stout, Lori Mraz, Jeff Mraz, John Jameson at Vice and Innovative, and the list just goes on and on. We're very fortunate. Chris Chartrand at Kegel, and Phil Cardinelli and Mo Pinnell at Radical, along with Brian Graham at Brunswick. Just friends that I've had in this industry, some for over 40 years now. And Brian Cooper at Logo Infusion, a wonderful man, great company. Supplied our shirts for us for 3 years. Just great supporters of the sport. And we're very fortunate. We owe these people quite a bit. So we try to do everything we can to promote their products. If you'll notice, every team is wearing shirts. All our sponsors are on our scoring units when we're actually not bowling. And of course, we're live streaming as much as we can on Thursday evenings. We have bowlers bowling here from 3 states. We've got 2 teams here out of Cumberland, headed with Chad Gable and John Wolford and Butch Young. Great guys from Cumberland that have bowled here. Joe Mullinax, Mike Sipple. Just a heck of a crowd from about 75 miles east of here on I-68. And of course, bowlers from Pennsylvania, from Waynesburg and Washington, and a lot of West Virginians. And of course, having Amanda Green here is quite an honor. What a wonderful, wonderful young lady. What a credit to the sport. She's getting a law degree at West Virginia U. So she's going to be here at least 4 years. And we're honored to have Amanda with us. PWBA champion. Just the sweetest girl. And she is tough. She doesn't give anything away. Charlie Wolf on 17 and 18 with the first 7. Excellent bowler, strong man, 45 years old, just pipe it and rip it. And I'm kind of curious to see what happens when he turns 50. I'd like to see him bowl some PBA senior events. I think he's got the perfect shot for the senior tour. He's still extremely strong. Just rifle it right up. right up the dry area into the oil. One of the few bowlers in here that's actually playing more of the dry instead of the oil, and definitely knows how to do it. Hopefully he'll shoot 300 for us here on 17 and 18. Chris Rowe getting out of the chute. It's the best he's looked all year, starting at a possible 279 as a D bowler. Came into the league with a 197 average. Got a chance to lead the team with 279. Anything can happen in this format. I've seen D's carry the league. Chad Gable with a possible 278 out of the chute on 19 and 20. And let's see, they're bowling Logo. And Logo's got 466 to first two to 416 is 50 pins. I got him back in the hunt. Brandon Williams definitely doubled the 10th here for 187 and really had to. He's 186 to 190. They lose 4, 56, 17. It's a close game. Chad Gable gets this one. Amanda Green needs a mark. So this is a big game right here for both teams. Oh, ringing 7 for Gable. To go 257. Could have went out for 68. Yes, Amanda Green needs a mark to win. She's on lane 20. Can barely see the ball reaction in our camera angle, but she rips the rack. She's tough. That girl doesn't miss. She's tough. I wouldn't want to bowl her. She's got ice water in her veins. All right, Charlie Wolf up on 17 with the first 7. The big man from Saberton, let's see what he does. Big, strong boy, about 220 pounds, just rips on it. Great shot. Come on. Oh, he's got the messenger for the first 8. It's wonderful to have that power. I never got a messenger until I was 47. I just had a question about my bowling in the U.S. Open. And, you know, anytime you're a touring pro, the majors are such a pump up. And I know for me as a kid, first major I bowled was the PBA National Championship in 1969 at Garden City Bowl. I was 20 years of age, and there was a great shot on the left that week, and I ended up third behind Mike McGrath, the late Mike McGrath, and the late Billy Allen, and fourth place was Billy Hardwick, and that was my first major. It was thrilling for me, it was, you know, to bowl out on the island, which back then, my God, you talk about a bowling mecca. You know, there was bowling centers on every corner, and there was so many greats out on the island. And I had a chance to bowl in front of the New York crowd, all the sports writers from the New York Times, the Post and the Newsday, and it was thrilling for me. And then, of course, the 72, 3, and 4 U.S. Opens were at Madison Square Garden. Well, bowling in New York City in the early 70s on the PBA Tour, keep in mind with Dick Weber in the tournament and Don Carter and, of course, Earl Anthony and Mark Roth, to be bowling with them in a major was so exciting. And at that time in my life, my mother lived in Manhattan, so we would drive 2.5 hours from Windsor Locks, me and Ann and my boy Michael, and we'd stay at my mother's house in Manhattan, and I would take a cab to Madison Square Garden and back to 3rd and 16th Street, where my mother lived, right on the corner on the Lower East Side. She lived on a 14th floor. We could see the Empire State Building from her living room, part of it. And those were, for me as a young man, wonderful, wonderful memories. The garden was packed. A lot of stars would come in. A lot of big names would come in. A lot of Knicks and Rangers. Sometimes bowlers from the Yankees and the Mets, guys that bowled that were baseball players would be there. They would be interviewed. And great boxers would show up. It was quite a time for bowling. And in those 3 U.S. Opens, I bowled very well. I got a check in 72. They took 24 finalists. I think I was in the middle 40s somewhere, 42nd, 43rd. In the 73 Open, I had my highest finish other than the national championship, where I was 3rd twice. I finished 6th in the Open, missed TV by 3 pins, and Dick Weber and Dick Ritker struck out in the 10th frame to knock me off the telecast. And then the 74 Open, I think I was 8th or 9th, missed TV by about 100. And Mike McGrath beat Earl Anthony in the 73 Open, and Larry Lobb beat Dave Davis in the 74 Open. So 74 was my last year as a touring pro, so that Open meant a lot. And in 3 months, the 60th anniversary of the PBA, they're going to have the Tournament of Champions at Riviera Lanes in Akron, which is only 3 hours from here, and I'm going to go back to Riviera, which was where I bowled my last tournament as a touring pro 44 years ago this coming winter. It's going to be kind of emotional, you know, to go back. And, of course, I worked out of Akron for the PBA, so love going back. Going to eat at the Diamond Grill and take a few rides and just reminisce. I went by the PBA office 2 months ago when I was at the Ace Mitchell Trade Show. I couldn't believe it. It was an abandoned art studio. That sort of hit me a little bit. And just had a lot of memories going back to the Rubber City. I'm so glad the PBA decided to go back to Akron this year. It's a great move. And we're hoping the PBA has a great season on ESPN.
So, I just wanted to see. I didn't know if the live stream was going to catch Charlie ball in the last 10th frame.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, Charlie Wolf's on the first 9 here on 17 and 18. Bowling from Motive, and Charlie is throwing a Motive ball. He's throwing an Octane, and Charlie loves Motive equipment. And we're going to see if he can get the league's second 300 of the season. Again, it's a pretty tough shot. A lot of transition. You can get to the pocket, then a few frames later it's gone, then it comes back. Carry's tough, short oil, a lot of carry down, not a lot of hold. Let's see if Charlie can execute and give us 300. He'll be up next on lane 17. here he goes. Big Charlie Wolf out of Saberton, West Virginia. Lane 17. The orange reddish Motive shirt. Still wearing shorts. I don't know how he can do that, but here we go. Let's see what he gets. Oh, he pured it. Come on, hurry. There it is. Rips the rack. Great shot. That's what he likes to do. 10 to 7, 10 to 8. A lot of speed. Doesn't cover a lot of boards. Good rev rate. About 350 off his hand. And here we go. Charlie Wolf for 11 in a row. Got in a little, hold it. Oh yeah, dead flush, all right. Yeah, she said I got a little hold. Yes, he does. That's all right, you're allowed to have a little room. All right. Got a chance to have a live stream 300 here for Motive. Great way to start off the evening. Okay, the cell phones are out. It's cell phone time. All right, he's taking his time. I like that. Wiping the ball down, making sure it doesn't rush. Thinking about everything, blowing in the thumb hole. Okay, getting his feet set, handing the ball. You'll notice everybody stopped bowling. They want to give him a chance. A lot of class. Come on, hurry! Oh, got it wide. Touched that little OB spot out there. Still a great game. 296, which I usually bowl for 2 games. Just gave it a little too much room. Probably missed it a little at the bottom of his swing. Ball sailed to the right. Went about 3 feet too far. Caught that little touch of OB and see ya. Great game, though. Great start. Charlie Wolf. Mike Sipple's going to shoot 266, which normally is a lock, but not on that pair. 17 and 18 has been a good scoring pair all year. Hey, Charlie. 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 Come on up here a minute. I'm going to bring Charlie Wolf up here, and we got my friend Charlie Wolf here, ladies and gentlemen. Just bowled 296. So tell me, last shot, missed it a little nervous. What happened?
Oh, I was definitely nervous.
Yeah.
Didn't have nothing on it. You know.
Yeah, just
it
went a
was
little
inside. I didn't get it out.
Yeah, you missed a little. Just it hung a little bit.
Kind of went.
Yeah, you look like
numb.
you look like me out there when you needed it. Anyways,
I wish I was there. You got championships.
Yeah, but not. I have championships that are so old nobody knows except me. Anyways, great start for the evening. Nice to see you start off. And what are you throwing for a boy? Throwing the Octane?
No, I'm throwing the actual Motive Paranoia.
You're throwing the Paranoia?
Yeah.
Something I got every time in my life when there was OB, Paranoia.
Yeah, got you.
Yes.
Actually, it's a ball you talked me into about 3 years ago.
Really?
Uh-huh.
You like the Paranoia?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Shot 298 with it here last year on the Thursday night league, and then
okay.
I go.
So you bowled well with the Paranoia.
296 at this game.
Yes.
Charlie.
I did the same thing as I did last year.
I know, that's what I was going to say, man.
Someone should have kicked me in my butt before I...
Yeah, but you got the first 11. At least you had a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
When you were younger, Charlie, you carried that shot. There was no chance at all that shot was going to be like that.
No, you're right.
When you get older, you know, damn it, man.
How old are you now, Charlie?
I'm 45 now.
I want to back you on the senior tour when you turn 50.
There we go.
You'll get on them wet dries they put out for those guys, and you'll beat them all. Of course,
nice.
Weber and Baker will be home by then. You'll have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're drilling.
Yeah, right. Anyways, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice bowling.
Maybe next game.
Now it's Charlie Wolf out of Saberton. Nice way to start the night. Jim Miller said hello to me here on live chat, telling me we did a good job with our Classic League. Thank you so much, Jim, for the kind words. Scratch bowling for me is what it's all about. Don't get me wrong, I love the sport. We're all bowlers. The difference is just the score. But my heart, you know, naturally haven't been a scratch bowler all my life, and a money player and a tournament player. And of course, working on tour, scratch bowling for me is very important, along with everything else. I mean, you know, we need birthday parties, you know, we need corporate parties, we need bumpers and ramps, you know, we need glow bowl, we need all of it. We need to keep the sport alive. But scratch bowling for me is in my heart, and naturally, all the great scratch players that I knew in my life, just thousands and thousands across the United States that I met literally from the middle 60s to now. I'm in my, next week will be 50 years ago I bowled my first PBA event at the age of 18 in Plainville, Connecticut, November 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that, of 1967. I got to look it up. So, for me to be running this league is a great thrill. Up there, here's Justin Malik, our GM, our Brunswick stand. A little tough carry out there on 15 and 16 tonight. Looks like you're all around the pocket and you can't strike.
A lot of us are.
Charlie Wolf's around the pocket and struck.
Yeah, he did all right.
And Mike Sipple lost with 266, so it's amazing.
And I won with 180. So, but now you have to understand, Chris is not healthy. He hurt his arm.
I saw that.
He's going to be up here in the booth with you in a minute.
Is Chris going? Chris is not doing well. I feel so bad. He had such a great start, but he's got to take a rest. That arm's beat up. Something happened.
Now I'm concerned because he gets a 205 for a blind score, so that means I have to bowl at least 206 each game. And right now,
that's a big game when you're not striking.
Yes, it is.
You know, I often wondered, you know, you think a blind is easy, but it's actually, you know, one mistake. You start off in an open early, all of a sudden you need a triple and you don't get one. You know, you go double ring and 10, and then strike ring and 10, strike ring and 10, and you're still 11 pins behind.
I think almost anybody who's a bowler would always want to bowl an actual opponent, not a number.
I agree.
It's very difficult.
I agree. I agree.
The carry's tough. I've never really gotten comfortable on the shot to where I feel good that I can freewheel and have a little bit of wiggle room. But
yeah, you've had a few 700s, haven't you?
Yeah, on this shot, it was just the stars were aligned.
You had a couple, right?
Stars were aligned and things worked out. But other than that, I've had some low scores too.
Looks like Todd Yost, your B bowler's lined up. He's got a little touch of hold in there.
Yes, he does.
His ball just holds enough for him.
It's very deceiving, Lich, because you think you're going to be able to get a ball back, and then it just hangs a little.
Yeah, well, that carry down.
Then you move a little the other way, and it goes through the nose.
Yeah, that carry down's real tricky.
Very much
so. Anyways, Justin is just a wonderful man. Been a teacher, 8th grade, for 14 years. Consummate professional. His wife is a dentist and has her own practice. Very professional people, wonderful people. And we're honored that Justin is our GM here. And got a heck of a staff here. Everybody works real hard, tries their heart out. Looks like he switched. Yeah, the BTU Pearl just wasn't finishing enough. That ball come off the oil a little quicker, a little harder. Looks like the Ebonite team and the Logo team are just tearing them up. Ebonite's 2, 3, and 4 bowlers have 5 in a row, 6 in a row, and 4 in a row. And Logo's hanging right with them. Amanda's going for a strike here. See, 1 triple, little light, strike 4 pin. That's going to be a dogfight between those two teams tonight. 870 to 820 the first game. 870 on this pattern is a heck of a score. There are very few teams that broke 900 the first game. There's a few. Keep in mind, we have a D bowler in there averaging under 200. So if a D bowler shoots 150, 900 means A, B, and C have got to go 750. And that's not a cakewalk on this shot. Well, that was a bad shot by Brandon Hose there. Looked like he hit his toe. Went right in the drink. See, Justin's been around the pocket all night. Just cannot get the wall shot out. That's all it takes. You get the wrong entry angle. Get an open frame. All of a sudden you can't carry, and here's 180. Doesn't take much. Johnson almost made the 710 on lane 13. The 10 pin come out, hit the rake on the left-hand side, in front of the 7. You know, I've never seen the 710 made in my life unless it was Mark Roth on TV and John Mazza and Jess Stayrook. Never live in 50 years have I seen the 710. I cannot believe I could have been in the bowling center that much in my life and have never seen it. It's crazy. I'm going to sit here with Chris Freeland for a while, who is our league president, who had a withdrawal, which is very rare. What's going on with that arm, brother?
I don't know. I probably tore something or pulled something. It's pretty nasty.
It is. I can tell.
Yeah, it's really hard to get through the ball.
Now you taped it up with
KT tape.
With KT tape.
I have too many Advil in me.
And you have Advil and nothing works.
And a lot of Icy Hot or whatever that stuff's called. And it's 2 days of at-home treatment didn't work.
Wow.
So it was pretty bad Tuesday, and it hasn't gotten any better.
Now, obviously, next week being a position round, you can bring in a sub. Am I correct?
Yes, I think I can. We're looking, actually, a text message has been sent to one of the super subs of the league, Jim Varner.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on to hear back from him. And
but you can get anybody you want, right?
I don't think there's a game limitation anymore, is there?
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't.
So in other words, you could get what's the boy's name from Frostproof?
I could get Jeremiah Hausbar.
Yes, Jeremiah Hausbar, who's fantastic.
He, I believe, his work got a new contract, and he's hard to get here right now. I
think
Brian Robinson tried to actually get him here.
Yeah.
For him tonight, but couldn't do it. So I think Jeremiah is hard to get right now.
Yeah, he's tough. He bowls in that 6-lane house where no one can average 200. That's why he's so sharp when he gets here. He feels like he's got half the lane to hit.
He is so solid.
Yes, he is. Excellent bowler. So what do you think of the league? This is your first year as president.
Yes.
You're replacing Dan Doyle,
yes,
who was our president for 2 years. What do you think so far?
I think it's going really well. I think the first couple of years you had some growing pains with rules and getting it all ironed out, but now, I tell you, tonight I got my portfolio thing that has my bylaws in it out for the first time.
Yep.
And we're in week 8.
And we're in week 8. Well, that's what we want. We want everybody to be aware of the rules, but we need good rules.
Exactly.
You know.
And we discussed a lot over the summer.
Yeah.
And I think it really paid off. I think, by this time last year, you guys have probably had 3 or 4 meetings, before league, and
yes,
just to get things ironed out.
Yes, we had a few things last year that popped up. What I tried to do when we founded the league was to have a meeting in June, July, and August, and then start in September. And we've done that every year. But you know the old saying, Murphy's Law. Last year, a few things came up, and they put us in a compromising position during practice balls, where officers had to stop what they were doing and try to figure out a ruling. And we caught on to that and said, well, we'll make sure that doesn't happen this year. But you're absolutely right. Those are the growing pains. And I cannot believe, like you just said tonight, it's the first time we had to get the rules out, and it took us 1 minute to clarify something, and we were done with it.
Yeah.
Team captains were all there, and that was it.
And that's not a slight on prior officers.
No. That's growing pains.
It's just the third year of the league, new league, a new concept here in Morgantown.
Yes.
So with all of that said, I think it's going rather well. I think this year you've got your strongest league, probably. With many 220+ A bowlers.
Yes.
Maybe this pattern we don't have that many yet, but we will.
We will. They get on that 49.
Yeah.
The 49, the 43, and the 46 are all going to outscore this thing 15, 20 pins a night.
Absolutely.
So,
and then when you put out the house 43 and the 46,
it'll
be even crazier.
Yeah. We wanted to start them off tough for a number of reasons. Number one, it's going to be a poor excuse to bowl bad them last 9 weeks.
Yes.
When the lanes are easy.
Yes.
And obviously with averages where people can jockey to get into a lower division, we wanted to make sure that we put something out where it would really, a man would have to question his own integrity to bowl that bad in front of everybody. I don't think we have that here. I think everybody's too proud and are just excited to be bowling for this kind of money in this competition.
Absolutely. Year 3, you've got 3 years of averages from 4 different patterns together.
Right.
You've got a little bit of a history built, especially for your bowlers that have bowled it year after year. You're not really going to see many, if any, shaving of pins. Plus, we have the 2% rule, which basically means that you get 2% of your league series for the night toward your total points for the league.
Right.
So every time if you'd ever think about dumping a 10 pin, you're penalized.
Sure you are.
I mean, it's not about getting fried and missing a 10 or dumping a 10. It's you really hurt yourself and you hurt your team when and if you think about doing that.
Well, in the old days, what I remember telling the bowlers here 2 years ago when we started this league, and then where I previously ran it, in the major strongholds of bowling, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, they ran leagues like this, Peterson Point leagues, when team bowling was at its highest level in the United States. and it was called the Peterson point system. And when people go to Chicago and bowl the Peterson, that was the Peterson point system was named after Lewis Peterson. And he was a genius. And he figured out a way to make you fight for every pin. Because I think he knew in the back of his mind, like everybody else, you know, if somebody's dumping and playing a game versus they can't dump. Because now, 2 pin is 4, and if 4 costs you a championship at the end of the year, a team captain come back to you and say, remember that night you threw the 4-7 in the canal on a strike?
Yep.
On a 4-6-7-10 and you threw it away? Well, you cost us the league championship.
Absolutely.
Well, doesn't sound like it could happen, but it could. Yep. It could go down to 1 ball.
Well, we'll see. Justin was saying before I took my break here that he doesn't feel like he can get to 205.
You want to know something? I don't think he can.
Yeah, he's
right now he needs a triple.
Yeah. Right
now he needs 2 doubles and he can't strike.
See, I wanted to give it a go tonight. I didn't feel like Tuesday was that bad. This arm with me has a history. About 3 years ago, I had a little tear in my bicep. It bled down in my forearm, and it took a little while, a month or so, to heal. That's what I thought was going on Tuesday, but it struck me odd because it had never went down into my wrist before, and I think it's something different. So I was wrong. I should have got a sub tonight, or I should have taken 205 all 3 games.
Yeah.
and took my 615 and sat on it.
Well, you know, it's so tough not to bowl.
Yeah, it is.
Especially even though you've got an issue. I know where you're coming from. Most good bowlers want to bowl. They want to suck it up and get out there and just say, you know what, I can do it. But there comes a time where if it's stopping you dead cold, you got to pack it in.
I've never had to call it before, but when I got to the point where I couldn't get my hand to go through the ball and it was stopping at my knee,
yeah,
I had to call it.
Yeah.
So, but it's still gonna be a good match because you don't have a look that's gonna run away from 205. So it's really 3-on-3 right now.
You know, it brings me back to when I was a touring player. You know, we had a tournament director that was loved for 30 years, and he really built the PBA Tour along with Eddie Elias. His name was Harry Golden, and Harry, you had to go to Harry to withdraw. And naturally, if a guy was 200 under going into Thursday morning and he wanted to catch an early flight, and he'd go in there at 7:30 in the morning, the squad was starting at 9, and he'd say, Harry, would you let me withdraw? And Harry would say, well, what's wrong? Well, my elbow is bad and my back is bad, and I know I can't bowl this morning. And Harry would say, okay, I understand that. Now answer me this question. If you were 300 over right now, would you be here? And they'd have to look at him and tell him the difference of 500 pins with a straight face, from 200 under to 300 over. Well, what I did see, though, is every once in a while you knew that somebody was hurting. I'll never forget, it was in the middle 80s, 82 or 3 or 4 right in there, and Mark Roth had qualified second at Garden City, 18 games of qualifying, and he had a notoriously horrible thumb, and he withdrew before match play. Naturally, Harry let him withdraw, but very rarely in my career have I seen a guy withdraw that was, you know, in competition to win. But when you're not, it's certainly, you know, you can't bowl.
Yeah.
But
it's hurting me tonight just to sit back here because I mean we're less than what 10 points out of third.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sitting back here, so it's kind of it's difficult.
How about Chad Gable? How good is Chad Gable?
Oh, Chad
you watching this here? He's got spare 8. Last game he had 257.
Well,
and he's shooting 290 this game against Amanda. He's going to beat Amanda. He's fantastic.
I bowled Chad Gable last week, and he missed twice in 2 games. He shot 750.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was bowling on China.
Yeah.
And he's my Nationals doubles partner, so I know Chad really well.
Did you go with him when he had that lead in the Peterson and had one bad game?
No, I was not at the Peterson.
But he went like 100 over the first 7, then had like 160 his last game and just missed winning. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
How do you go 100 over at the Peterson for 7 games? What kind of a number is that?
Well, he has a very simple, great game.
Yeah, it's very simple. 4 steps, gets the ball into motion quick, gets into the swing very quick, but waits on it, catches up, waits on it, a lot of leverage, great back angle, gets through every ball the same. That follow through is the same every shot.
I tried to convince him that we were even because I carried him at PA States and he carried me at Nationals, but he won't buy it. he won't buy it.
I could see you guys winning the doubles at the Nationals. I could see 1,500.
I got a bowl a lot better than I did last year.
I could see you guys getting loose and carrying each other to an eagle.
Man. It was
You
our
guys-
first year. We'll get better. So.
I had one chance at a doubles eagle, and it's exciting if you get close. Then you start counting the days. Every day I was on the phone. Back then they didn't have electronic media. I called the USB-C up every morning at 9 o'clock for 40 days. I drove them nuts.
This is my morning call.
Yeah.
It looks like Todd Yost has a great look tonight.
He has a great look. He's got a little push in there.
Yep.
I've seen him get a couple, and he spins it. He's got a soft spin. And whatever's out there, the ball's touching it, and it's just going an extra 5 feet for him, and it's locking him right in.
My teammate Rich, he absolutely hates this pattern, but anybody with slow ball speed that doesn't like to give it away from the pins very much isn't going to like this, unless you can throw pretty much a heater up 10.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not an easy shot, even though some guys do make it look easy. It's not easy. You've really got to bowl good, and you can catch a good pair in there pretty easy.
I made it look pretty easy for 4 or 5 weeks, and I had no idea how good I was bowling. And then I got 23 and 24 and had 640, and I realized how hard they were. So.
These older houses where they put in the panels on top of wood and they didn't resurface the wood, the panels take the memory as time goes on. And if they screwed the panels in on the outside boards all the way down the lane, well, they create a depression, pulling the outside part of the lane down, so the topography has the lane sloping to the right and to the left on the one boards. Well, that also can bend the panel into about 5 or 6 in some cases, especially if the lane was low there. So we've come a long way, the information that Kegel has put out now about topography and the fact that they can laser lanes and make them just absolutely perfect. But that's the legacy of John Davis. He was the greatest thinker that I ever met in my life when it came to bowling lanes. And we're so honored that they sponsor in our league. And naturally, we've got the custodian. We use their oils. We're looking at a new flex machine. We'd like to get a flex. That's quite a machine. That's a $38,000 machine. You can get 2 nice cars for that, Chris. You can get a nice BMW and a nice Mercedes instead of a flex. Don't get me wrong. The only problem is you can't take your girlfriend out in a flex.
You can't. She can ride on top of it down the lane. That's about all. That's about all.
Yeah. But they're such a great company.
I think I might go slap one out on Justin here if he loses to me.
He's got problems.
He does.
If he opens here, he needs 5 in a row. No, 4 in a row.
We were joking around.
He needs 4 in a row and to stay clean. Oh God, is he in trouble? Don't go down there. He might get mad at you. He might throw something at you. Don't say a word.
Oh no, I'm a guy that believes that if you gloat a little bit too much,
Yeah.
he'll probably throw the next 4 just because I said something. But he admitted to me in practice that because I thought there was a chance. I thought there was a chance I wasn't going to be able to make it through.
Yeah.
I tried everything I could to feel better, and he told me if I took 205, he wouldn't get to me. And that's the new rule. That's a new rule in our league as well. It's 15 off your average.
Yeah.
Last year, I think we were set at 10 off of the minimum.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So
that changed a few things there.
Yeah. So last year's averages were what? 215 and above was an A.
Yeah.
So you took 205.
Yeah.
No, you took 200. I
Yes.
think, right.
Yes.
So we altered that a little bit. So it doesn't
we live and
doesn't
learn.
make the blind quite as painful, but you still want to be out there.
I'm looking forward to the next segment. I think the 49 is going to open it up for a lot of teams that pretty much got shut out early and never really had much of a chance. But that pattern there is going to change it for a lot of people. They're going to get loose. They're going to bowl better. And sometimes I don't like them tough, but you know what? If you haven't bowled all summer, it's your own fault. You know, if you get in here and your hands shrunk and your legs ain't right, well, it's your problem. You know, it's a sport. You got to pay your dues. And I think that we start off tough makes everybody understand. Maybe you ought to come out 3 weeks in advance, get loose, bowl a little bit, get your equipment resurfaced, cleaned up, get your grips right.
And Suburban Lanes makes it very possible for people to come out and practice
Yep.
and bowl on the patterns
Yeah,
and for a reasonable cost, and there's no excuses really.
Look at Chad Gable going to shoot 290.
And Amanda.
At Amanda. Amanda don't change. Amanda never changes. She just throws it the same every ball. And no matter what happens, she's the same. That's why everybody loves Amanda. She's just no emotion, but always nice.
Absolutely. What Gable have game 1?
257 with a stone 7 in the 10th.
140 some over.
Yep. He's looking at 800. And that pair's holding up right now. And he is locked in. That's 89. Very nice game for Chad Gable. Looks like Evan and I could easily get the second here tonight.
Absolutely.
And they might bowl them again next week, which is interesting.
Yes.
Who could possibly be calling me tonight
Don't they know you're busy?
at
On a
8:41
live telecast.
on an area code I never heard in my life? Somebody trying to sell me either a burglar alarm, offering me financing for my college education. It will not be a bill collector because I went bankrupt and no one could come after me, so I know that. Who else could it be?
Nobody you want to talk to. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not answering. It's probably the one time in my life a gorgeous woman heard me interviewing here, wants to marry me, she's worth $20 million, remembers me when I was a kid, and I won't answer the phone. What do you think? Think I'm that lucky?
I don't know.
I don't either.
See, I told you, Justin's going to throw the back 6
Yeah.
for 220 and beat me.
You got him changing balls. He changed balls again there, you know.
That was a...
You got him sweating. He's going to lose to a blind. He's never going to live it down.
Brandon Hose has been bowling really well in this pattern. We were
You
fortunate.
saw what he did in the second frame, right? Hit his toe.
We were fortunate to grab him in the C spot.
Yeah, I know.
So.
He's also improved. You know, he works very hard on his game. He drills a lot of equipment. He's a student. He's reading all the time. He's very into his game. What I like is he's very methodical about certain things. Yeah, he changed his grips the other day on about 8 balls, and everything got to be precise. I mean, and he's telling me what he has to have done, and he's watching me over my shoulder, and I'm thinking, don't make a mistake, because he's going to let you know it.
Didn't you tell him you've done this a couple of years?
Doesn't make any
This is
difference.
your first time?
Doesn't make any difference. You're only as good as your last performance. If I screwed up his last ball, then... Well, they're predicting snow next week here. You know that,
Makes
don't you?
sense.
If they have it on position round night, that'll be exciting. I wonder if we'll cancel the league on position round night because nobody can get over the mountain passes on 68 and come in here from outside of town. I hope
I
not.
don't know. It's been awfully warm. I can't imagine it getting that bad yet.
Me neither.
But we do often here in West Virginia go from 75-degree weather to 30-degree weather.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. You know, I got so spoiled when I lived in the South that I never dreamed I would be in the cold weather again. I said to myself, you know, after living in Florida for 19 years, that I ain't going back to that. I got to have my head examined. Little did I know, although I do go there a lot, little did I know I'd be in cold weather again. I'm sort of dreading it this winter.
Yeah, we had a good one. We had a really, really mild winter last year.
I know we
did. Either we're due or we'll have another good one.
Let's see if Brandon Holmes can keep it on the lane. Don't hit your toe, boy. Good, he got through it.
hold.
That was good. He got through it. He hit his toe on that gutter ball. He hit the very top of his shoe.
How that happened?
I don't know.
Saw that Brian Robinson made.
Yes,
the
Brian
open
made the
from
cut. Yes, he made the
from
cut.
the qualifier, right?
And they took 19 bowlers and 108 under got in for 8 games. 108 under for 8, which means I would think they were pretty tough, don't you?
Yep.
But that's good. You know, it's a major.
Yep.
That's the way it should be. Whoop, Gable hit the nose. And their Green's team all started with strikes.
This league is good for urethane sales.
You know, we've sold some, but you want to know what I noticed? Even though they give you an alternative, it's still never enough for everybody all the time. There's no way.
Unless you're Keith Willard.
Yeah, unless you're Keith Willard, who throws a 1991 Blue Hammer with no finger grips and an inch reverse in his thumb and 3/8 forward in his fingers, and gets the ball into his swing and runs after it and never misses his target. And I don't know how he does it at 57, but I'll tell you something. It's not a fluke.
No.
The man can flat bowl.
No, Keith Willard is sneaky good.
Yes, he's sneaky good. Shot 221 this game down there. I had to fix that Blue Hammer. He lost all the plug in the middle finger last week, so I routed it out with an end mill and cleaned it up, and now he's ready to go again for another 20 years with it.
Told ya.
Uh-oh.
Told ya.
Well, he needs a double. He got that in and it held. Did you see that?
Well, look up here. I want to tell him.
No, he don't want to look. He's scared to death.
Charlie Wolf with the front 11.
I didn't think he'd leave a bucket. There's a little hang spot on that lane if you miss it. See, there the ball was out in the same spot, but he didn't miss it. It come off the spot. The ball was in the same spot with the bucket, but he didn't clear it good, and the rotation wasn't right. It went an extra foot, and there was a head pin right around all of it for the bucket. He's a good bowler. I like Sipple's reaction with that Brunswick ball. That's that pit bull?
That is a show off, I think.
Is that a show off?
That is a Rotogrip show off.
No way.
Yeah,
that thing's just hooking the lane.
I saw it in his hand.
That is a show off.
Yes, that's a really strong cover on a weaker core, so maybe it's the right combination for him.
Yeah, it is a show off. I thought it was a pit bull. He's got a good shot tonight. He shot 266 the first game.
Wow.
In this game, he's shooting 220, and he throws the ball well. Good bowler.
This could get tight right in front of us.
Oh, I know it could get tight. It's a dogfight. Right now, if you look at it real closely, even if you took Logo and give him the win from Stormhammer, Ebonite, Kegel, the Mountaineer, they're all in shot. They all got a shot at second place. And of course, with the wild card, you know, every one of them right now are in great position for the wild card. You know, after 9 weeks, you know, they didn't win a segment, but they got a lot of points.
Yeah, well, that's what we did last year. We have a rule that there's an extra spot in the stepladder.
That's right.
And we actually had two or three extra spots in the stepladder last year because of multiple team wins by the same team.
Right.
And we led the overall points last year and never
won a segment.
I don't even think we were second once.
Yeah.
We were third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah.
And third.
But you had year-to-date points.
Yeah, year-to-date points.
That's the best part of the format, in my opinion, is if you get a team that wins twice, they're going to be seeded number one. And then your other two winners are going to be seeded 2, 3, at least 2 wild cards. That means you got 2 teams that never won a segment, got a chance to win the major money during the roll-off. So.
And you know, as a team sitting back that bowled consistently all year, that's great.
That is great. Well, Justin, don't strike here. You get a point. 2 points.
On the bench.
On the bench. Got to strike here. It's sayonara.
He looks pretty good with that ball. Maybe got him a little in, got him a little out.
Well, we're going to find out right now.
There's a lot of urethane going down our lanes here on 15 and 16 in practice in the first 5 frames.
How about Dave the Rocket Man Taylor?
Yeah, I think Dave, the first 3 or 4 weeks was pretty upset with the way he was bowling. He was a new B bowler that felt he was going to be a D bowler next year. He was bowling so bad. I didn't worry about him.
Oh, look at that! He got a 5-7 off the wall.
I wasn't worried about him.
Yeah.
I knew he'd come around, and he's got looks like a cyborg in his hand tonight. Yeah,
he bowls good with the old stuff.
Well, and here's the thing with Dave was I think he was a little too far left for the new oil. Yeah. When we started, and we got he was all about angles. He's got to see the angle the right way.
Yes.
Because he's coming off the corner.
Yes.
And we got his feet a little bit right, and he's just been killing the last 3 weeks. And for this, killing at 640, you know, so.
Well, you know, as accurate as he is, if he can get lined up right and get that ball to come up on it, the right angle, you're absolutely right.
He had 299 on Tuesday.
I know, and he come out with 266 his first game last night.
Yep. I think he's got that little timing issue and a little confidence back, so.
Yep. Oh, Richie, what are you doing? Oh, boy.
Rich will not be sad to see this pattern go. He will not be sad.
No, it's a lot of the D's. It's tough on him. They're not that sharp, and they're good bowlers, but they need a little help.
Yep.
Need a little comfort zone out there to give them a chance. And the sports shots usually obviously hurt the lower average players. And, you know, a lot of the high average players. Of course, this isn't a sports shot. Thank God. I don't think I could go that route here. They might have a lynch mob waiting for me outside if I decided to do that.
Oh, wow. Did you see Mike Sipple get 5?
There it is.
He thought that ball was good.
Oh boy, that hurts. There you go. Why didn't he throw it like that the first time? That was a pretty good shot there. He's got to get his feet another board left and play right in that zone. He can't get around the first arrow. That urethane will hit that low spot there and flutter and it's gone. He's trying to swing it, that's why. He can't swing the first arrow here with a urethane ball and no rev rate. Forget about it. It ain't happening.
I think he knows the first one was a miss. You know, miss right.
Yep.
I think he knows he needs to be more like where he was the second ball.
Yep.
10th.
So if he played him like Rossi, who yanks 5, that's the difference. The ball's going left at all times, where you don't see that OB zone.
Rick has been having an issue pinching it off at the bottom. He doesn't trust it right now in this pattern because he's got no right, you know, room right. So he's missing left a lot. And
yeah.
I think that it creates that I throw it a lot right or I throw it a lot left look.
Yeah. Look at Larry Bissett. Ball bad the first game, shooting 257 here with the Creed. Just drilled the Creed up. The Creed is a nice ball. I like the Creed. I threw a few myself. I wish I could bowl, but I can't. But I really wanted to bowl again this year. I started throwing that ball in April and May, or May and June. And by July, the shoulder was gone again. I ain't got it. I can't continue. I wanted to bowl so bad again in my life. But old age is here. Not much we can do about it.
You're talking to the guy riding the pine right now. So.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx you. You're too young.
Well, you jinxed me last week, Larry.
I did not. I only asked you.
Larry says to me, "You shot 550 last week. Why are you injured?"
Are you injured?
No, I'm fine. I bowled bad.
Yeah. And then 2 days later, you're injured.
2 days later, I pull a...
The kiss of death, old Uncle Larry.
Actually, it wasn't 2 days later. It was the same day, 2 games later with a Saturday practice session.
Oh, my God, no, that's not fair.
Thanks, Larry.
That's not fair. You're not supposed to do that to the league president.
You were just lonely back here in the booth.
Yeah. Boy, he got that right. The other one he got in. Now 240. He's going to lose. Look at that. Bissett beat him. He will shoot 227 and lose.
We might get wiped this game.
You might.
Justin seems bowling well.
You see Nolan Dalton bowling over there on, you know, Nolan Dalton runs dirt tracks. You know that, don't you? You know he's a car racer, right? I went with him twice in May. There were cold nights. Went to a place called The Knob. It's over there in out around Hopwood, and he won both races, and his dirt car's pushing about 780 horse, and that thing barks. The car barks. Anyways, I go with the crew, and it's because they're running on mud. They're running dirt. So I got my work boots on and jeans, and I was fascinated by it. Meanwhile, I had to start working Friday nights and Saturday nights, and I got tired in June and July and August, and I've been a little, not sick, but just a little fatigued. And I didn't want to stay out late and drive. They go sometimes 2-3 hours from here. Since I left, he won 7 more times. He's won 9 races this year. Unbelievable. And these guys are flying. I mean, they're doing a $1.15, $1.20 in the straightaways.
In the dirt.
In the dirt. And it's dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous. They're bank tracks. You know, and the turns are banked. And he's quite a racer. And wouldn't that be something if the only point you guys win is you're blind? Because here you go.
It's possible. Justin's pretty good in the clutch. He probably has a strike in him.
Justin's a good bowler. He's very underrated because he runs up there. He's got such fast feet. But at the bottom, he's there. His follow-through is the same every time. He's strong. He's got a very strong forearm. The fastest feet in the world. Got it in a little. Look at that. You win on the bench, bro. You got the new secret. You win on the bench. How's total pins look? Oh no, they got you there. Forget it. Looks like a bad night. You got to get a game here. You got to get a game and get some points. There it was, got it out a little, touched the dry a little quicker.
Yeah, my 205 could be in trouble next game.
I don't know, I think you got him thinking. He opens early. All he's got to do is open early. You know, that's the thing about a 205. Doesn't sound like much. So you open in the first frame and you don't double for 4 frames. All of a sudden you start pinching.
Yeah.
Right?
Not a lot of room to pinch on this.
No, there's not a lot of room to pinch.
It's not hard, but it's not soft. See, that's where Rich gets into trouble. You know, he missed on the in the 10th frame, threw it to maybe 7, 5, and it wiggled and got a washout. And he moves his eyes in, and his ball speed, it sucks him right into the nose.
And that is how you lose to a blind. Just like that. Just like that.
I liked your 5-7 though. That was a nice little break. I thought I was in trouble.
That was solid.
I thought I was in trouble.
Solid. What the hell are you talking?
Thought I was in trouble.
Now remember you two. Now you weren't dumping to him, were you? You weren't playing the league officer dump, were you?
He's gonna get me in cut of his prize money, so I'm gonna go for everything.
Oh man, Larry called it, and 2 bowlers before you, he said, "You got a chance to, as the blind, win the only point."
Thanks, Lich. Good to see.
I give you the kiss of death, bro.
Larry has a serious kiss of death.
You know, I didn't bowl many leagues in my life because I went on the tour very young. The 68-69 season was my last league, I know this is going to sound crazy, till the 97-98 season. Meanwhile, that year we would bowl the doubles league. It was 4 games a night. And it was about, I don't know, 114 or 116 game league. It was a lot. I averaged 228. And that average was the highest average in the Central Connecticut Bowling Association for 16 years, till it was broken with urethane in the 85-86 season. And there's the Manhattan rubber, played to one board. And the old resurfacing machines didn't stand one on each side. That was a bonus if you liked the bumper. That was the original bumper if you threw a spinner. And you get up there and just spin that thing out there, and it would hit one and just bounce off it. And I bowled in a house called Bloomfield, and it was high one board on the left and right. It eventually became Earl Anthony's Bloomfield Bowl. U.S. Polychem bought it. It had Earl Anthony's name on the headliner of the bowling center. And now it's a supermarket.
Oh.
You know, they tear down Paradise and they put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many bowling centers I know that are supermarkets now or shopping plazas. Got to the point where I cannot believe it. Look at that, just rockets.
Yeah. All about angle.
Yeah.
That was the Gable Amanda match going.
Well, Gable ain't going to shoot 800. They're about even right now. That pair slowed down a little.
Gable was 140 over last week against me after 2, and he shot up 220. So he loses it a little bit the last game.
Yeah.
I think his angles get
a
little messy.
Yeah. Boy, he's good though. I'll tell you what, he's a horse.
If anybody can figure it out.
How old is he? 45?
40?
40?
I don't think he's that much older than me.
Yeah. He's a good bowler. Does he own that bowling center, White Oak?
Yeah.
That's his bowling center.
His family, I think. Yeah. See, Gable's won a lot of things around here. He's won Nesbitt's. He's won Mohawk thing up in Indiana, PA.
Yeah.
He's won a lot of big tournaments.
So he is a proprietor.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. What an honor. What an honor for him to be bowling here, taking a ride 140 miles round trip. Really nice of him to show up and bowl here.
I think it's a family-owned center.
Probably needs a night out. You know, get out of town and get in another area and just chill a little, bowl a little, and take a ride. You know, it's probably therapy. I know for me, if I get 15, 20 days in a row in here, and I love it, but I get a little buggy. It's time for a ride. I got to do something just to get out.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, you lost. Oof. Okay, had to take a little break. That was an exciting match on 17 and 18. Excuse me, 19 and 20, where Chad Gable's Ebonite team against Logo Infusion won the game 947 to 945, which quite frankly, 945 might be the high losing total of any team game so far this year. That's quite a number. Yes, sir. I'm on the air. Big Mike Lance coming up here now to ask me why his ball doesn't hook.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're throwing dull urethane, bro.
That's right. I lose it and I get it back. I lose it and I get it back.
understand. That oil's crossing your break point every time a right-hander shoots the left side spares.
Well, it's
and your
not-
ball's
well,
trying
you
to
got-
cut through it.
You got two more left-handers, and one's hooking the ball, and the other one's playing straight down the boards like I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got shot with it, but
He had a good first game with it.
huh?
Actually had a good game this game. He missed 2 1-pinners.
Yeah,
What'd you miss? 2 7s?
yeah. Stupid.
Can't miss them.
Wind blowing him over.
I don't want to tell you how many 3 7-pin misses cost me 17 years ago. You wouldn't believe me. 3 7-pins. 2 in Las Vegas and 1 in Brentwood, California the next week. 3.
Wow.
Games 41 and 2 in Las Vegas. Game 42 in Brentwood. 3 cost me 15,000. 5,000 a miss. Here at that point, I've been bowling 40 years of my life. I still didn't know how to make a 7-pin. And I wonder why I'm sitting up here in a booth with nothing to do tonight. You know, it's amazing. Nolan's throwing the ball good. Roland
Yeah,
Nolan Dalton
yeah.
with 9 dirt track wins this year in the local area with 780 horsepower and an engine that barks. That engine barks. Nolan agrees with me. He agrees. He agrees.
40-year-old or 35, 30-some-year-old veteran.
What's that?
He's been racing for 30,
Yeah.
39 years probably.
Yeah. Well, that lane's breaking down now.
Yes, it is.
That one really came off the spot. You see that shot? That went dead left.
If anything, Brandon starts to see a little bit of wet-dry develop game 3. He has, it's not a big shot. But if he gets a little right quick, it reads really fast.
Yeah.
Are you putting the 49-foot pattern out tonight?
Yes, I am. I'm putting the 49 out for practice because we start on it 2 weeks from tonight. It's going to be out Saturdays and Sundays from now on. And I'm kind of excited to see that new pattern. I think some other teams that sort of got knocked out pretty early are going to have a chance now to redeem themselves. I think that's the idea of it anyways, is to give everybody a fresh start at 9 weeks, you know, because as we found out last year with Keith Willard's team, they were in a 14-team league. They were 10th through 14th the first 3 segments and won the last segment. And that's enough for me. The minute I saw that, I said, there you go.
What do you think the 49-foot pattern is going to look like with the new oil?
I think it's going to hold up longer than it did before, which means higher scores because less moves. The entry angle is much better than this. It's coming from off the corner, and it's going left all the time from off the corner because you're not swinging the gutter on this, you're yanking the gutter. That I like because you're yanking it into the hold spot, not going around the hold spot. And I like that. The other thing is, I think for the weaker rev player, if they can understand to move right, they're going to get some secret hits. They're going to carry some late tens, a messenger here and there, and that's enough to change a lot of people from wins to losses and vice versa. So, you know, it's going to be different. And quite frankly, and I'm going to go on a hunch here. I don't think that Brandon Williams' team, although it's a very good team, will dominate on that pattern, because there's a lot of other teams now that can beat them on that because it's less moves, less equipment needed. You know, you got Matt Reck, who's got a dozen bowling balls. Brandon's on his staff, Amanda's on his staff, and Dave Varney uses Brandon's stuff. So
infinite bowling balls. So
they've got a lot of looks, and that's part of the sport. That happens everywhere you go. But you got a team that doesn't quite have that much equipment, but they don't have to move as much, and they can stand right and look left. Well, that could even it out a little bit. I think it could. We'll see. We'll find out. Brandon just lost a game in the 10th there, opened.
He told me last week he shot his first 200 in 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's very streaky. He doesn't dominate for too long. I mean, he'll get it going and you'll see him bowl well, and then all of a sudden he loses it again. It's just one of those deals. Oh boy, that was a bad shot. Won the game though. Gable's got a chance for 8. Let's see, 57.90's 47. He got a chance for 791. My God, 761 last week, 791 this week.
He might have a good look.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's got. They're not that easy. I mean, they're real touchy. Everything's got to be just right, and he's just making them look dead easy. There's always somebody, you know, no matter where you go, there's always somebody that figures a way out. I'm going to try and sell this. Look at this. Look how many left I got. I couldn't sell them all. Look at this. 2, 4, 6, 8. 14 more. I can just count them. 13 tickets away from a draw.
Dave and I will split the rest.
Who's that?
Dave Taylor. I'll get 5.
You may take over the microphone.
I may.
You guys want to go the rest of the way?
it looks like the first place team won all 4 games tonight. Logo Infusion beat Ebonite. I thought it was tighter than that. It must have been a good match each game. They got swept. Chad Gable's team got swept, and they lost total by 40. Wow. That may be Todd Yost's first open of the night. Hey Larry, take a look at this. So down here on the Logo Infusion Ebonite match, Logo beat them 4-0 and totals 40 pins.
Say it again.
Logo beat them 4-0. Okay, so they swept them.
Yeah.
And total is 40 pins.
They swept them?
Yes, and total is 40 pins.
Logo Infusion swept Ebonite?
Yes. And Ebonite lost total by 40.
What do you mean swept? Every point?
Well, no. I mean it's 4-0, so they got every game and they got total.
Every game and they got total.
But look at total. It's 26-42 to 26-01.
Yeah,
and they never got a game.
That's rare on this shot.
They never got a game.
Logo Infusion punished them and they bowled great.
Who shoots 2,600 on this pattern and loses?
It's just the luck of the draw. The wrong team at the wrong night.
And Gable had 750 again.
And he had 750. Unbelievable.
I think that's a rich get richer situation. That's going to make their lead huge.
Oh, they're in now. They can't lose. They can't lose. I mean, they can bowl 2 blinds and still win. Might not be a bad idea.
Speaking of blinds, I don't think I'm going to get Justin this game. He's got me in trouble.
Roll a 5 and 3 and you'll get him. All it takes is one shot.
Alan Johnson's going to shoot 279.
Yeah.
He might be good.
exciting finish down there by Alan Johnson, striking out for 279 to go 24-73 against 24-58. They get 15 points for team total. That is a big, big game. Could launch them into second place next week. Going to be a dogfight. Obviously, Logo Infusion is going to be our first champion for 9 weeks. But second through fifth or sixth, a lot of money at stake next week. We will be live streaming. We will have some interviews. We'd like to thank all of you for listening and watching this evening. Very nice to have you aboard with us. We hope you enjoyed it. I'll admit it's not ESPN with Randy Peterson, but what do you expect for free? Randy, very dear, dear, dear friend of mine who we want to wish him and all the people with the PBA a great season coming up, starting next weekend with the U.S. Open, and qualifying starts this Friday. I guess I don't know exactly when their first telecast is, but qualifying starts tomorrow up in Syracuse at Flamingo, and boy, I wish I was there to watch that. I love the majors so much. Mark Roth will probably be there. I sure hope the great Roth will be watching. I love Syracuse. When we went there in the 70s, boy, what a great town. Loved it. Great nightlife. I always went for the nightlife. I really didn't go for the bowling. I went for Italian food and entertainment. And you got both if you were in Syracuse in the 70s and 80s. A jumping town back then with Syracuse University there. Still is, I'm sure. Been many years since I've been to Syracuse. Loved it there. Justin. Okay, we're still here. We've got two teams left. It looks like Logo and Fusion definitely locked in the first 9-week segment. We think they're about 60 to 65 points ahead going into next week. They'd have to be swept and bowl pathetic, and I don't see that happening in this lifetime. And we're finishing up here. Then we're going to have a little practice session tonight with our 49-foot pattern coming out. As soon as these teams are done, we put the pattern out 3 weeks in advance for our next segment so the bowlers can bowl on it after the league ends and on Saturdays and Sundays. So everybody has an idea what's going on for the next segment. I think a lot of them are going to be real happy to say goodbye to the 40-footer here. Anyways, we want to thank all of you again for watching our league this evening here in Morgantown at Suburban Lanes. And we will be live streaming next week our position round, which is a lot of money at stake, 3rd through about 7th. That could be anybody's chance to get up to 2nd place. We'll have the standings. We don't know them yet, but standings will be out before we telecast next week. We might post them. And again, we look forward to having you watch our Classic League. He's a good bowler. I didn't realize he was under. He's getting better. He's throwing a couple nights.
He's got a pretty simple game.
He's sweet. You see that shot?
Repeats every shot, yeah.
He's accurate, too.
Yeah.
He's a good bowler.
Yep.
I didn't realize he was that good. You guys are impressive tonight. Chase, you got a good team.
Yes, we still didn't all put together a set, which is crazy.
Well, you know what's amazing is really nobody figures Matt Rick to really be that good. He is good. He is a good bowler. He's got a good attitude out there too. We're going to quit him. And Varner is just
Varner saves us the middle game.
He's unconscious. I never thought he would execute like that for 3 games. He's been doing it for 9 weeks. He never threw it that good since I've been here. He's good. His release cleaned up too. He ain't hitting up on it like he was. The plane of his swing's different. He's smooth at the bottom, more of a stroke.
I was working with him, telling him they needed to get the ball into the lane a little sooner.
Yeah.
He's going to see you go down the lane a little better and have more energy. So.
Yeah.
I think we've got like roughly 62 or 63 on 2nd place.
I don't know. Who's 2nd? Hammer?
Hammer.
They can't beat you. 64 and by 300 pins in total. How's that with Gene Griffin with that attitude? Exactly. The minute Varner catches a double, he's going to go nuts because he thinks the Varner's, doesn't belong there. That attitude he's got, that guy's terrible.